So, records are obviously there to be broken. Records are there to be broken, and in this season's WNBA season, records have been broken. Time after time after time. And another record that has been broken is the most viewed ESPN WNBA game. There were, at one stage, especially, it was the time that the Fever were making the comeback at the end of the game, there were 3 million viewers watching the Fever and the Suns. And this is not the finals. This is not even Caitlin Clark's first game. And I will say, Caitlin Clark's first game did have more total viewers and more average viewers. But as far as peak viewers go, the fact is, it peaked for 14 minutes. So people are like, oh, people just switched on thinking they were going to watch the hockey. And it's like, there were 3 million people watching. There were like 1.5 million watching, less than 1 million, or just over 1.5 million, and 1.5 million watching WNBA. It was the same amount for the hockey and WNBA. But like, as far as average goes. But they obviously stayed for the 14 minutes. And it's just showing the crazy, crazy viewership that this team and this player is getting for the league. And the league is in a really weird position as far as like a lot of the things they push, because we saw from the Elite Eight, the LSU, the rematch. So last year's NCAA Women's Championship game, most viewed game of all time. And I'm pretty sure it took over from, if I'm not mistaken, it took over from the semifinal, which was Clark and South Carolina, after Clark destroyed Louisville. And then this year, that record was broken in the Elite Eight when the rematch. And then the Sweet 16, or Central Sweet 16, the semifinals, the UConn broke the record again, and the finals broke the record again. And it's just record after record after record being broken. And it is absolutely crazy, because the WNBA, I don't think they know what to do with themselves as far as marketing. Like, again, I have the weird conspiracy theory that WNBA actually don't want the league to succeed. That is a conspiracy theory that may go to my grave unless things change. But that is my conspiracy theory. But like, it's so hard when it comes to marketing, because it's very clear that the most people are tuning in to watch the Fever in general, especially when it comes to cable TV. And that's not including all the illegal streaming numbers. But as well as that, you've got what is clearly like the number one draw. But then you've got the other teams. Like, the Sparks are getting millions of people watching games. And you're like, this is a league where there were less people watching. Like, there were genuinely less people watching the WNBA finals last year when there were 2 super teams than there are watching random regular season games now. And it's not just the Fever. It's not just the Fever. Heck, like, obviously the Chicago Sky, I don't think they haven't played on national TV yet. I expect those numbers to be, I don't expect them to be Fever numbers, but I expect them to be really good. And then obviously the Chicago Sky preseason game had 2 million people watching a freaking live stream. Like, it is crazy the hype for it is league. And the WNBA are in a tough position, because it's like, and especially the TV companies, because at the end of the day, the TV companies are going to profit, and it's a surefire thing showing the Fever games for people to watch because of Caitlin Clark. But like, you better believe that every record is going to be smashed when the Sky play the Fever. Touch wood, assuming Caitlin Clark's ankle is okay, the Sky and Fever is going to break records. Heck, the Sky are playing tomorrow. They're playing the Liberty, which is going to be a viewed game. Heck, freaking people, millions of people are tuning in. Like, I think it was like 700,000 watched the WNBA finals. And then a random ass regular season game between Cameron Brink and the Aces is well over the million. Like, the growth in this sport is unbelievable. It's crazy. And obviously, the catalyst for the growth, for the initial like hype, obviously Caitlin Clark. As well as that, at the same time, Angel Reese is a legitimate celebrity. Like, Angel Reese is as big a celebrity in sports, and she's probably going to be as big a celebrity in sports as we've seen in a long time. So, obviously, the Sky are going to be extremely, extremely popular. So you've got those 2 teams. Cameron Brink, again, as I've said, might be the best of them all when it's all said and done. like, is extremely popular as well. Like, she's there on Paul George's podcast. And then the players in the WNBA that are, like, the stars. Like, people have probably never watched Breanna Stewart play until the Fever play the Liberty. And everyone's like, oh my God, she plays like KD. And then, like, A'ja Wilson, especially when, in a couple of weeks' time, when, is it like a 5... I think they play the Aces on the away on the end of a back-to-back. Like, the schedule they gave the Fever to start the season is wild. But when A'ja Wilson inevitably drops 30 points on the Fever, because Ali Boston's not going to be able to guard her if they do go with that matchup. People are going to be talking about that, and you're now seeing games that don't involve Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and to a lesser extent Cameron Brink. You're going to be seeing those games pick up even more now. So it's brilliant for the league. It's brilliant for the sport of basketball. And the funny thing is that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, the league's just going to be hyped right now. It's never going to be hyped this much in the future. This is just like a flash in the pan. When in reality, I'm just saying this, in reality, the level of female basketball is night and day compared to where it was. And as far as the entertainment factor goes and just how they play, they're getting better and better. There's so many of them are absolute hoopers. Absolute hoopers. Like, again, as I've said, I think the best of all of these players is going to be Juju Watkins. Like, Juju Watkins could break all of Caitlin Clark's records. She genuinely could. Like, she is that level of a player. She's smooth. Her game is entertaining. And, again, very, very marketable. Good in front of the camera. Like, Juju could break all of Caitlin Clark's college records. Do I think she will? Maybe, maybe not. But she went to USC. She didn't go to one of the powerhouse schools. Like, just like Caitlin Clark, she didn't go to the best of the best schools. She didn't go to a UConn to guarantee her success. She didn't go to an LSU to almost guarantee her success. Like, she went to USC and was their main player. And then obviously Paige Beckers is coming into the league next year. And like, Paige Beckers in this class, her first year in college, was one of those transcendent players. She obviously didn't transcend the sport to the extent that Clark did, and to a lesser extent Angel Reese did. As far as Angel Reese, I'll say, like, she transcended basketball in general. She just had a celebrity. She just had the social media following, like, everything. But as far as getting eyes on the sport of the actual games, obviously Caitlin Clark has, her pulling from 30 just had this level of intrigue that we've never seen before. But before that, there was Paige Beckers, who is the most popular player in women's college basketball, who people were talking about. She was so good as a freshman that people were saying they should basically get rid of the 4-year rule and she should be one and done and go to the league. She's going to play in a 5th year now in college. So UConn are going to be really good. USC are going to be really good. Juju's going to be really good. Even at LSU, Flo J is incredible. And Flo J is almost like, as far as like celebrity and stuff outside of basketball and ability to grow their own personal brand, she's Angel Reese level and a baller, an absolute baller as well. So this is here to stay. Is there going to be the mania around the game as there is right now? Not really. But when the mania ends, the sport is probably going to be double. It's probably going to have doubled its viewership than before it started. Yeah, you're seeing like games now that these teams are playing having like 400% increases on last year, whereas last year was only, I think, a 29% increase on the year before. So the 400% increase isn't really sustainable. When the mania goes down, I still think you're going to see at least double what it was last year. And it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And it's going to grow, hopefully it's going to grow alongside this incredible rookie class. It's going to grow alongside the players that have been there for years that are now getting more eyes on them. And it's going to grow alongside the incredible players in college that are coming through. And the fact that these college players are not only unbelievable basketball players, they are big names. They are celebrities in their own right. And they're transcend the sport of basketball. And there are negatives to go along with that as well. And it's the players who get criticized like NBA players. You will be able to be, like, for example, if I was a WNBA player, I would just delete all social media. You're now going to go onto social media and see all the negatives stuff said against you, or positive stuff when you do well, like NBA players. It's no longer a case where the only time people talk about the WNBA is to complain about the players asking for more money. People are talking about the sport of basketball, and all of the players that brought the sport, all the best players in the world have played a part. And these incredible rookies, obviously, are playing a huge part. And it's so important what these players are doing for the game. It is so important for the women's game. And ironically, the better the league is, the more popular it is, the more girls you're going to see playing basketball, and the better the level is going to be. Like, you've even seen it when it comes to a sport like tennis. How popular women's tennis is, has always been. Like, and obviously there were some superstars like Steffi Graf, Monica Seles. Like, there were superstars. Obviously Navratilova, Margaret Court before that. But then obviously it hit a new level with the Williams sisters, and their game, they became more popular in a lot, especially in America. They became more popular than the men, despite the fact that, just like basketball, men's tennis was significantly better. Like, Serena Williams would have ranked like 600 or so in the world in men's. Didn't matter. She was the best female player of all time, probably, and was the massive draw the sport needed to take off. And that is what the case is could Clark, Reese survive in the NBA? Of course not. But in their own right, in their own game, are they good to watch? Do they have any interest? Are people interested in them off the floor to care enough about more than what they just do on the floor? Because realistically, in a lot of scenarios, that's needed for the sport to absolutely thrive. As much as people hate to admit it, like, the soap opera around sports is very important for the sport, for like the growth of sport. Because there are a lot of people that just basically like the narratives. They like the soap opera around the basketball, and the fact that that's happened in WNBA. Is it bad for the players in a way? Yes. But is it good for the growth of the game? Of course. Either way, it is. Man, it's been a fun season. It's been a fun season to be a basketball fan, because the playoffs have been incredible. College basketball, watching UConn, watching South Carolina, watching obviously LSU up to a point, UConn, watching Iowa, watching Caitlin Clark, all these players, watching Real Madrid have balled out in EuroLeague anytime I've seen them. It's been a fun year to be a basketball fan, and honestly, I'm happy that this has been the year I'm taking on this channel, because, again, as I've said, I love talking about the sport of basketball, and I love the fact that it's not just NBA that's relevant. I like the fact that it's not just NCAA. I like the fact that people are watching international ball. I like the fact that people are watching WNBA. And I cannot wait for the Olympics in a couple of months. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.